Hello viewers and welcome to Fine Tune. My guest today is Pradyot Kishore Manikya, the Maharaja of Tripura. Incidentally, he happens to be the youngest Maharaja in the country. He's just not a Maharaja only, he's also an entrepreneur. He is a person who owns the first heritage hotel in the Northeast, the Tripura Palace in Shillong. He is also onto journalism. He is the editor and publisher of TNT, the largest circulated publications in the Northeast. Pradyot, thanks a lot for sparing your time and joining Fine Tune today. A warm welcome to you.
How do you do?
Very fine. What about you?
Well, as always, happy and hoping to have a good interaction.
Absolutely, and whenever we meet, I think it always turns out to be a very positive interaction whenever we.
That's because we have the same school.
Absolutely, we passed out from the same school.
Yeah.
Prax, let's talk about your work, the place where you belong to. You are from Tripura. Everything apart, last year suddenly you took a final decision to resign as the general secretary of the Tripura Congress, but you still remained as a primary member. What made you take that decision?
No, actually they haven't. Let me correct that. My resignation wasn't accepted. I am still the General Secretary of the Tripura Congress Party. Of course, I'm a PCC member and I continue to hold the post as of today. And the decision I had taken was due to certain grievances and objections which have been addressed by the party leadership in the centre. And that's about it. Now coming back to where I come from, Tripura, that's my birthplace, that's where I've been, that's where my destiny lies.
But Pradyot, you were just saying that your resignation was not accepted, but that was a time when you had become very active, very vocal also. I remember getting
I'm still vocal.
No, I mean, that was a time when I was getting messages of you on the Facebook saying that think twice before you vote and things like that, So, I mean, what made you suddenly become so active that time and getting across to the people?
No, I've always been active. The point is, you should always think twice before you vote. Otherwise, you end up voting for the same party, which has done practically no work in Tripura. When I say think twice, I'm asking the people not to be worried about Manrega, or for the matter, some doles by the state government. I'm saying think twice because this is our future. Living in a state like Tripura, which is left ruled, you don't get many opportunities as youngsters. You're supposed to live in perestroika, in a land where there is no development, but yet you continue to show a image of an honest chief minister, and that is good enough for you to progress. That doesn't happen. So I said, please think, because our next generation needs as much opportunities as any other state in Northeast or in the rest of India.
True, but Pradyot, in Congress also, if you talk about Congress in Tripura, there seems to be a division also. Recently, some legislature had come out, they have formed...
Subal Bhomik has left the party.
Yes. Why is that so? I mean,
I spoke to him, I requested him not to leave the party. In fact, when I had opposed certain things in the party, the gentleman who left the party was the first one who came and attacked me, saying, why is he doing this? My point is, after the elections, after you've lost the elections, anyone is free to leave the party. But if you had genuine grievances, you should have put it up before the elections came in front of the people, not after you've lost the elections, after you've campaigned, and then now you come out as a sour loser. I don't think this is a good step. Leaving the party is not the solution. If you have a problem with the party, work from within. I mean, if I could succeed at the age of 34, I don't know why people who have been former legislators, ministers, and bigger decision makers in the party need to leave the party. How does that solve the problem? How does creating another party solve a problem?
But one thing you have to see that the Congress could never really make its impact in Tripura. I would say, this is a state where left has been ruling for years. I mean, why stay with Congress? Why don't you think in terms of, you're the Maharaja, why don't you think in terms of aligning with the left? Perhaps you would be able to do a lot more for the state and the indigenous people.
My father joined the Congress party in 1965. Became the primary member of the Congress during Nehru's time, 1962 if I'm to be accurate. He was 29 years old. Became the member of parliament in 67. For the first time we defeated the left in the state of Tripura since independence was when my father defeated Dashrath. My mother subsequently, my father was 3 terms.
She was a member of the parliament.
And my father was 3 terms. My mother was subsequently minister. My mother defeated Manik Babu as well in the assembly elections.
So that Congress thing, I think, was in your blood.
It was in my blood. I cannot leave the party. And speaking about the indigenous people, leaving the party does not, if I have to help, I'm a politician, but I'm also an individual who feels my people. I come from a family which has done a lot for the indigenous people and for the people of Tripura.
True.
So why do I have to leave a party? To help your people, you don't need to be political, you need to genuinely help the people.
But what about Congress? Why don't you revamp it? Why Congress cannot make an
It will be
impact?
revamped. It will be, I'm very hopeful that it will be revamped. I'm looking forward for the future of the party in the next 3-4 years. I am sure new blood will come in. As a vice president of the Congress party, Rahul Gandhi himself has said, we need young people, we need new policies, and we need people to get things done rather than giving long bhashans. And we need to revamp the party, and Congress will do that very soon.
Okay, Pradyot, you talk a lot in terms of the indigenous people, not only indigenous people of Tripura, but the entire indigenous people of the region, I think. The way we say we belong to the hills. I mean, how do you view the rights of the indigenous people as of now?
Well, to say that everything is hunky-dory is not true. A lot has to be done. We need to have not only policies, we need to have it implemented. You see, this look-east policy, we want to create an atmosphere of well-being. First of all, alienation of indigenous people's land cannot happen. That's why I'm very keen that this land reforms bill comes into act in the parliament.
Okay.
Second thing, forest rights and traditional dwellers' right need to be strengthened so that people who have illegally come into Northeast do not get pattas to settle down in areas.
But that's happening.
Well, these have to be stopped, and you can oppose it, and just because you happen to belong to a certain political party doesn't mean that you can't speak for the people. My Congress party has never told me never to speak for the tribal people. They've always told me to speak for the indigenous people. I will continue to speak so.
You have also been very vocal, Pradyot, about the Armed Forces Special Powers Act.
AFSPA.
And I think it is not only that Manipur had suffered for this, it is not only that Assam has suffered for this, I think even Tripura also. There was a time when militancy was at its peak and AFSPA was there. What do you think about the misuse of powers as far as Armed Forces Special Powers Act is concerned? I have extensively traveled to Tripura, to Manipur, and I have seen people suffering with my own eyes. What's your take on that?
AFSPA has to be revoked. There's no two questions to it. I've always said that AFSPA has to go. If you could not solve the problem by implementing a law like this, in 1958, 11th of September was when AFSPA came to power. It's roughly 65 years. And after 65 years, if a law hasn't been able to get rid of militancy, how do you propose it will get rid of it in the next 65 months? AFSPA has to go. And AFSPA has to go through and throughout. The Prime Minister himself has asked for more humane law.
But now they're talking in terms of some modifications. Do you think that would be acceptable to us?
It's personally, it's not acceptable to me. I think you want to make the people of Northeast a part of the national mainstream. You can't do that with the gun. You have to do it with a smile. You have to do it with your policies. So AFSPA is a danda, you know. You don't listen to me, there's a danda. This does not work in 2013. It didn't work in 1958.
We have to change with time, I guess.
No, it didn't work in 1958. It didn't work in 1975. It will not work in 2013. In fact, there will be larger repercussions if we continue with AFSPA.
You have been a youth icon, you know. What you talk also in terms of unity among the youth of Northeast. We have, you know, Northeast is altogether different. Sub-unity, caste, creed and community. You talk in terms of unity among the youth of Northeast. I mean, what is it? Tell me.
See, unity can be in different ways, you know. The word Northeast is so corrupted. I mean, I'm from Tripura. In Tripura there are different tribes. In Manipur there are different tribes. There are Meiteis, there's Thankols, there's Kukis. In Assam you have so many different communities. Arunachal is the same thing. Meghalaya, Garos, Khasis, Jaintiyas. So to say that unity, when we speak about unity, we talk about issues which affect us indirectly. Now let's talk about the national highway. A road blockade in one part of Northeast affects the entire chain of the national transportation. Let's ensure that at least economically,
for that matter, if anything happens in Assam, the entire region is affected.
Entire region. Or if you see the economic blockade which takes place in Manipur every year. So now the point is that we speak about, oh, we are being discriminated by India, Delhi mein ye ho raha hai, Bangalore mein this is happening. But within our own region, we do not cooperate with each other. And this is where I think that we need to speak out for each other. Sometimes voices become stronger if solidarity is given from your neighbor. So I think this is where we need to ensure that there is more cooperation and unity. Second thing, we speak about inclusion of there has to be a chapter Northeast in the national NCERT textbooks. We have been saying that. How about first starting it in the local secondary, higher secondary education board?
Okay.
Why can't someone from Meghalaya learn more about Assam? Because of the, why can't somebody from Tripura know more about Manipur? Why can't we introduce it within our Northeast? Why can't we at least get together? The policy makers, the student organizers say, okay.
I mean, that would bring people more closer.
How much do we know about, how much does a Tripuri know about a cookie? How much does a person
Khasi
from
know about a Garo?
These things, and then when we go to Delhi, we say we've been discriminated, they don't know enough about us. First, I think we also need to gear ourselves up. I think this will help. This would help if we started working in areas where there is no conflict. At least we should meet where
and Pradyot, you have to agree also that there were a number of crisis situations we faced at Delhi. I mean, there were attacks on people on North, and that was also an opportunity when I think the entire region, you know, irrespective of being from Nagaland, Manipur or Meghalaya, people got it together and they realized that we are out of this region here and we need to fight for our rights. I mean, that was also a thing I think we brought the people
this
closer.
is good, this is good, but the point is, why do we always react? Why don't we proact? That's because in our minds, we do not look at our, in Delhi, everybody is a Northeasterner. So that's why we tend to think our problems are the same.
Right.
But our problems are not very different in Northeast as well.
True.
When there is no electricity, it affects everyone. When there is no jobs, it affects everyone. Yeah. When the roads are poor, it does not, you know, a certain tribe does not go over a better road than others. So it hurts all of us. So that's why I'm saying, if we want to go out to Delhi and speak as a united voice, it would definitely help if in our school books, instead of learning about what General Tito did in Yugoslavia, it would also help if we knew more about Rani Gaidalu, know what the Tripura kings have done, about the great kingdom of Manipur, about the Battle of Saraighat. People need to know about all these things.
Right. On that note, we take a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll talk to Pradyot more about the contemporary issues which is confronting the region. So please stay with us.